So I think without further ado, let me bring him on so that he can share with you about his NBS experience. Edward?
Thanks a lot, Dogan. You're always too kind as usual. Yeah, let me just pull up and share my screen and perhaps just walk you through a bit more. I think Dogan shared a lot about the benefits and what we can look forward to in NBS. I'll share more about perhaps a more chronological journey and how my path in university or what path I took in university and how I kind of ended up bouncing around and to where I am today. So I'm a year younger than Dogan. So I graduated in 2019 with a double degree in accounting and business. I specialized in banking and finance as well. I think when I first came into NTU, it was in 2015. I really had no idea what to expect. I actually wanted to come in with to be a value investor and start my own fund. I also wanted to do a bit of entrepreneurial things on the side. And I think the journey of the next 4 years after that really took a turn and in a very, very different and unexpected direction. In the first year, I think I took things a bit more normal. I was part of this program called the University Scholars Program. And actually in the first year, towards the end of 2015, they actually flew us out to Thailand to actually do some field work and do research in the university. And while this is not exclusively to NBS itself, it really shows the interconnectedness which NBS students have and opportunities NBS has outside of the across the broader university as well, as was mentioned earlier. It was really, really interesting because we were actually researching about I think education in Thailand. And we were partnered with local students on the ground where we worked together with them and obviously had a lot of fun as well. We visited the night markets. They showed us around to the university, things like that. So the first year of university, I think there's a lot of things happening, really try to get used to it. Like Dogan, I also lived on campus and on site. And it was an incredible experience living with friends and was basically extended family at that point of time. I do remember some of the stories which we had, whether it's late night going out and just walking the grounds across NTU, or taking like night walks and taking night walks around, or even just taking the long train journey out from NTU to the city over the weekends just to visit town. And fast forward to really summer in 2016, and that's when a lot of people do internships. I think Dogan really did and maximized a lot of that, and that's really led him to where he is today. I, on the other hand, I think I kind of decided to take a very different path. In summer of 2016, I was kind of deciding what I wanted to do for the next couple of years of my life. And one of my mentors asked me, because at the time I was running a startup, is this something which you wanted to do for the next 7-8 years of your life? And the answer kind of came back as no. I talked to a few career counselors, I talked to people within NBS, and I think they're very, very supportive and said, go out and find out what you want to do. And that's basically what I did. During the summer of 2016, I basically traveled throughout most of the summer, which is a good 3.5-4 months. I started in Bangladesh, where I had the opportunity to actually be in the same office as Professor Muhammad Yunus, who started the entire microfinance movement for an entire month. And I visited villages. I lived in villages. I visited slums. I met social entrepreneurs, and they really inspired me a lot. That I was like, I want to hear more of the stories. I want to hear more of their journeys. And I ended up following them across South and Southeast Asia. So I ended up just backpacking, traveling alone. I'll go into villages across the region and post it on Facebook, literally. And my friends would be like, oh yeah, you should meet this person and that person, this person, that person. So actually on the top left-hand corner, you actually see a photo of a village, which I actually visited, where they were doing microfinance transactions, and you can see a bit of the dollar notes in the foreground. On the top right-hand corner is actually a slum school. On the bottom left, it might be hard to notice or guess what it is. I was with an international cohort. I think there were about 6 or 8 of us doing the program at Bangladesh. and we were actually on top of a train there. Not sure whether you all can see it, but we were on top of a train. And that was really an eye-opening and incredible experience. Towards the end of that trip, you can see the photo on the left. I actually ended up in Vietnam for a conference arranged by the school, where they gave me the opportunity to actually attend the conference in the school. Sorry, in Hanoi. And went with a couple of friends there. I ended up ending my trip actually in Vietnam with all of them. This was actually in Ha Long Bay, where we spent a few days beforehand just relaxing and before the conference. Like, I mean, Prof. Lam said, I think really what I remember the most is really these memories, these friendships, and these opportunities to really see the world in very different ways. So after that, fast forward another term, I sorry. Oh, I thought that I wanted to take some time off to find how I could start something. And this program called Overseas Entrepreneurship Program was actually offered by the school as well, by NTU, and I applied for it. I got in, and it's basically a program which sends you abroad for about 6 to 12 months to innovation hubs around the world. In my case, I was fortunate enough to be posted to the Bay Area, or Silicon Valley, if you like, where I worked for Spring ML, which is a startup. I was there for about 7 months or so, where I really learned a lot on innovation space to bring back to Singapore. Yeah. Finally, I think I'll talk a bit more about GivFunds. Dogan mentioned a little bit about that. So it was actually at the end of my summer trip, or that I found out, I didn't kind of want to do entrepreneurship or anything just for the sake of it. I found purpose by visiting all these social entrepreneurs and realizing that they didn't have access to capital. So in winter 2016, I actually took this train journey across India, where I visited, 18, like the perimeter of India in a third class train for about 16 days or so. And that's where I met my co-founder. You can actually see him in the photo on the bottom, second from the left. He's right on the right. And I think we saw the world in very parallel ways. And I think coming back to NTU after my trip in Silicon Valley, I was like, I want to do something and we want to start something. How can we do it? And really the school and NBS provided so much resources to really provide the support to help start this. They connected me to entrepreneurs who are like entrepreneurs who have graduated in the past. They've also connected me to the NTC, the Nanyang Technological Center. Sorry, I can't quite remember what they're called, but yeah, the NTC, and they provided seed funding as well for us, and we started GivFunds. And today, what we essentially do is that we're a nonprofit impact fund where we provide low-cost capital to social enterprises, particularly those in rural areas and tier 3, tier 4 cities. I'd be happy to share more about these stories later on as well in the Q&A. But really, I think the birth of GivFunds, a lot of it stemmed off the support I got from the school and the environment within the school. So after that, I think I had another good 2 years left in NTU. And it was really a hodgepodge of things which I did. I ended up flying to India to work with GivFunds multiple times. I had a lot of opportunities to actually visit Southeast Asia throughout towards the end of my degree program. And this is for different competitions like the Hout Prize, you can see it in the top. And those are prizes organized by students within NTU. And it's an international competition which they brought to the school. It's my friend from NBS who actually organized it. In fact, I think Dogan and I were both good friends with him. It's Joe. And he brought it to the school, shared about it, and basically I partnered with 2 other NBS juniors to actually put it together a pitch for GivFunds and pitch it. And we ended up going to the regional finals in Vietnam itself. Also had the opportunity to travel all around to Myanmar, live in Myanmar for a little, and bounce around Southeast Asia and Indonesia and in Thailand and whatnot. Yeah. And so, like, I think what NBS really gave me, and I think Prof. Lam was exactly right? I don't remember the grades. I don't remember necessarily the lessons either. Might not like me for that, but I don't quite remember many of the classes. But what I do remember is community. What I do remember is memories. What I do remember is who helped me during this period of time, and allowing me to kind of, really follow my passions, encourage me to do and pick a very, very different journey from other people, and emerge on the other side of it, happy, fulfilled, and really, I think the last 5 years or so, it's been some of the best years of my life, or has been the best years of my life because of that. In terms of where I am now, yeah, I'm still running GivFunds. I'm currently in Oxford doing my MBA and wrapping it up. So I graduated about 2 years ago or so. Whole bunch of other random stuff there. I'll be starting a startup next in the Middle East, in fintech, and obviously off the backs and of the support from NTU as well. Yeah, I think I come to the end of my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions later on as well. Thank you.